Welcome everyone to another tier list. Today we are gonna do a team game bonus tier list, which is one we've never done before, but I figured it made sense. It's a pretty cool one. Well, first of all, let's explain how team bonuses work. Essentially, you will have each civilization providing one team bonus for the whole team. So for example, just to say Aztecs, they have a team bonus where relics generate 33% extra gold. That means that if a Burmese ally grabs a relic and puts it in the monastery, he will benefit from that bonus of 33% more collected gold. It does not stack though, so you cannot have like 2 and 3 Aztec players and get 33% extra per Aztec player. It's only once per civilization. With that said, we are going to do the tier list here and we're going to go alphabetically. We're going to have some situations where bonuses feels useless, but we're also going to have bonuses that are like extremely situational and can like maybe help on this map or that map. Alright, well, starting off with Aztecs here. Aztecs team bonus is relics generate 33% gold. It is extremely helpful on a lot of maps, but it's not something that will be like winning you the game. It is a very good bonus though, so I'm going to put it 8 here. Second Civ Bengalis, they have a bonus where trade units yield 10% food in addition to gold. It's not a great bonus, you don't really notice it much. Trade is also something that kicks in very late, so I'm gonna put it in bad. I don't think it's a particularly good one. It just kicks in so late, and 10% of the trade. But of course, over the course of a longer game, it can add up and become quite a lot of food in the end. But it's a bad bonus in my eyes. Berbers, their team bonus is the team will have access to genitors. Adding it to very situational could make sense because there will be situations where a Civ could benefit from that. But I think that is so extremely rare that it might not even fit in the very situational one. I'm gonna put it in bad. I don't think Janitors are a great unit. They're extremely situational themselves. So combine that, I think is not a great team bonus. Bohemians have a bonus where markets work 80% faster. I think that's an A tier bonus, especially on a map like Black Forest or any kind of team game in general. Just having those markets kick in so much faster, giving trade so much faster is a very good bonus. It really helps kickstart the phase where you're starting to struggle and sort of run out of gold. Bohemians markets just help you kickstart that trade income way faster, and it's a great team bonus in my opinion. Keep in mind, this is all my opinion, okay? If you disagree, that's fine. Let me know in the comments if you do. Britain's team bonus, archery ranges work 20% faster. It's okay. In team games, archery ranges are a very frequently used building. It's an okay bonus. It's not anything particularly great, nor is it bad. It's just okay. Bulgarians have blacksmiths work 80% faster. Again, it's not a bad bonus. It's not great, but it helps, you know, it helps. Sometimes getting an upgrade a bit faster, or let's say hit castle edge, getting +2 armor faster, for example. These things can make a big difference, so it's definitely an okay team bonus. Burgundians, essentially what the Burgundian team bonus is that relics also generate food in addition to gold. So if you combine them with, for example, Aztecs, it can be a very nice bonus. It's not a great team bonus though, but it's not bad either. Again, it's just like kind of okay, it's nice to have. I don't think it's particularly great. Keep in mind, it's only, in the end, one relic is only 30 extra food per minute, and that's not that much. Next up, we have Burmese. Burmese bonus is that relics are visible on the map. I kind of want to put very situational. This situational tier might disappear in the end, but I would say it's a bad bonus. It is neat to see the relics and know where they are, because you also get an idea of whether they're picked up or not. And for civs like Lithuanians, Aztecs, Burgundians, it's a nice one to have, but in the end, does it actually contribute that much to the team? I wouldn't say so. It's not a great team bonus. Byzantines, monks healing 100%. That could very well be a very situational one. I think it's a pretty solid thing. Monks healing can be huge in games in general. They can actually make the difference a lot. And for those who have seen Byzantine monks heal, it's actually pretty nuts. So maybe I found our first very situational one. Actually, no, I think we're gonna put it in okay, because it's definitely a good bonus. It's not like, oh, I would love to have it, I really want it, but it is a nice thing to have, and it means your units get HP faster, obviously. It helps in the middle of the battle, and it can help units come back to battle very fast, so it's a decent team bonus. Celts team bonus, seed workshops work faster. Again, similar as Britons. It's not gonna make or break your game, but it's a nice bonus to have. I wouldn't say it's bad either, especially for Celts themselves who rely a lot on siege in team games. It's a solid bonus to have. Chinese bonus, it used to be even better, but I'm contemplating putting them S tier. Essentially, it's 10% extra food on farms. I think farms is something you use the whole game from start to finish, so this bonus has always been insane. I usually used to think it was maybe the best team bonus in the game. But they have recently nerfed it a little bit, so maybe it's now an A tier. By the way, I haven't ordered them inside the lists from best to worst inside the list either. I think that's too hard to do, so I'm gonna stick with just putting them in the tier in no particular order. Humans, palisade walls have 33% hit points. I think that's actually also a really underrated team bonus. Just having that extra bit of HP on the walls means it unlocks other options strategically for the whole team. You can be a little bit more greedy, you can justify trying more fast castle builds. Obviously humans themselves can go for the 2 TC. It's just a very nice thing to have for your team as a whole, because walls are such a big important part of the game, and if they are stronger, that helps you a lot, especially if you do some sort of team wall as well. It can be huge for the team. Dravidians, docks provide +5 population space. This might actually be a very situational one, because obviously on land maps this is completely useless, but considering water maps, nomad for example, honestly if we say water maps or hybrid maps, I would probably put it A tier. It is a very nice thing to have on hybrid maps, so I think it's a very situational team bonus, but I'll emphasize that it's also a very good team bonus in those situations. It can make your opening and start be so good. Even Black Forest, if you want to do a fish room, it helps a little bit, but yeah. Ethiopians. Towers and outposts have +3 line of sight. Kinda want to put it in useless, but it's actually not that useless. Outposts have become more popular, I would say, in recent times. They're super helpful, but again, is that 3 line of sight gonna win or lose you the game? Probably not. But actually in some cases it might. It's still not a great team bonus. It's bad. In the end, I think extra vision bonuses in general aren't necessarily great. Speaking of extra line of sight, Franks. Knights have +2 line of sight. It's not a good bonus at all. Your knights have +2 line of sight. Some civs will never make knights. Some civs don't have access to knights. It's not a great bonus. Simple as. Goth, again, barracks working 20% faster. For Goth as a civ itself, it's great. I think it's quite neat for, because a lot of times you'll also have civilizations end up with making halberdiers in team games, so it can definitely help. It's not bad, it's not great. Gujaras, camel and elephant units created 25% faster. This is one I might end up putting in bad, because camel and elephant units are made way less than barrack units, for example. The civilizations that have access to camel units / elephant units are way more limited. So I would say it's not a great bonus overall. You could easily have a team where your 3 teammates don't have access to camels or elephant units, which makes the bonus in that case obviously useless. But it's just not a great bonus overall because of how limited it is. Hindustanis, light cavalry and camel units have +2 attack against standard buildings. In some games, that will actually be like breaking through the walls so much faster, and it can actually be pretty huge. I would say it's an okay team bonus. It's not great, it's not bad. I say that a lot, I feel like, but especially on open maps where like you make a lot of scouts in feudal age, that can help put so much more pressure on an enemy team or enemy opponent by taking out even production buildings, breaking through walls and houses faster. So it can be a very nice one to have. Hunts stable work faster. You see the pattern here with those buildings working faster. I think stables working faster could potentially be A tier though, just because of how reliable or how dominant cavalry units are in team games. So maybe you could even make a case for Hun stables working faster actually being A tier. I'm gonna leave it in OK though, next to the Goth, Celt and Britain's bonuses, because they are so similar. But if anything, I think Hun's bonus is definitely better than those, because it's stable units, and stable units are universally just a great unit in team games. Incas, spearmen and skirmishers have +2 line of sight. Nope, absolutely useless, horrible bonus. I'm glad we left the useless tier. It does nothing for you. First of all, in team games, how often do you want to make skirmishers? Extremely rarely, especially in feudal age. Maybe you'll make some to defend or survive in the opening. Maybe in post-imperial age you make skirms. But does that line of sight do anything for you? Spearmen? You could argue maybe spearmen just have a little bit more vision to spot scouts or enemy cavalry. But no, in my opinion, this honestly, actually, it's not useless. Obviously, it can help, but I feel like since we have actually, let's switch useless to trash. It's a trash bonus. It's absolutely horrible. Give back the faster farms. I'd rather have that faster building farms. Italians, condottiero are available at the barracks in Imperial Age. I think this can this can change the outcome of a lot of games. Sometimes you don't really have an idea of what you want to make, and having condos in the barracks, especially for civilizations like Japanese, Malians, Goth, having access to condos can actually be huge. I think it is an A tier, especially on water maps as well, where Vikings, you can be Vikings, you can land, you can do condos. So It's like a hybrid version of very situational, A tier, and maybe okay as well. I'm gonna put it in A tier because I think just unlocking an Imperial Age unit for free in early Imperial Age can be so massive, and obviously it's also a very good counter to gunpowder units. If anything, maybe you argue even S tier. Japanese galleys have 50% extra line of sight. I think it's very situational. I think in water maps it can actually be pretty nice because you can spot enemy fish, you can see where enemy is coming, all that stuff. So this is a one line of sight bonus that I am not opposed to. I think it's solid on water maps. You can also see more in on land from enemies, so you can see maybe some tech switch they're making, whatnot. But of course it's very situational because it's only for water maps. It's an okay bonus, but it's also extremely situational. So Khmer, Scorpions have +1 range, easy A tier. Scorpions, a very nice unit in team games, both in Imperial Age and in early Castle Age when you're defending off those crossbow raids, Coucher raids, etc. Like for ranged units, range is the most important stat, and having +1 range on Scorpions means you can even outrange things like Mangonels. Just a very good team bonus in my opinion. Koreans, Mangonels, minimum range. So this is Mangonel Onager. Siege Onager is reduced to just 1. I think it's a pretty solid bonus. Whether I would put it A tier or not, I'm not sure, but I think it's a very good bonus to have. Obviously, you have to be making Mangonels to take advantage of it, but I think it also, like, your Mangonels can survive way more often than without it. So I think it's an A tier one, and Mangonels are also something that can really decide the outcome of a game in team games. Lithuanians, monasteries work 20% faster. It's an okay bonus again. Monks can also be a very important unit in the game. I think we're gonna have to put it in bad. Monasteries are sometimes used, like you can do monk rushes and such on certain maps, closed maps like Arena, Black Forest. But then again, how many people make a monastery in a team game? It's way more of a rare building compared to the others, so I think we're gonna leave it in a bad. Magyars, foot archers, excluding the skirmisher line, have +2 line of sight. I still think it's a bad bonus. Of course, you make way more archers than, for example, skirmishers, which we have in trash. So it's still a little bit better, but in the end, +2 line of sight as an archer. It's not going to change the game for you. Malay, dock and harbors, +100 line of sight. We're going to leave it at very situational because I still think it's an okay bonus. So I would say it's very situational, but otherwise it's okay. It helps a lot on maps like Nomad, for example, maybe hybrid maps. It's a bit easier to plan your fishing and not make it too awkward for yourself. And also, in very many maps, you can also spot your enemy fish simply because of that extra range. For example, in Nomad as well, you might see your enemy dock, but he doesn't see yours, so you can change your strategy. So it's a very situational one, obviously, but I think it's a pretty solid bonus as well. Maybe I would even put it in A tier, because it can have such a big impact and unlock strategic choices for you. Malians, universities work 80% faster. That is a definite A tier. I think we could even argue some of these civs could go S tier, but maybe we don't even need an S tier, because maybe there's no team bonus that just stands out above everyone else. But Malians, universities working 80% faster. It can be crazy important for early Castle Age timings with ballistics, but the most important one is the chemistry being researched so much faster. It can just unleash so much more extra pressure with bomber cannons coming faster to the field. Even like when you need to do a defense, like guard tower defense, for example, those university upgrades coming in so much faster can save your butt. Mayans, walls and gates are 50% cheaper. I would say this is also an A tier. In general, you're relying so much on walls these days to secure your angles in team games, and having them be cheaper just helps a lot in the whole development of your game, because you save resources, you save stones, so you can make theses easier. Maybe you can afford an extra tower because you didn't spend the stone on the walls, or as much stone on walls. I think it's a very nice bonus to have for sure. You combine mines with cumins. You often see team games as well. You see mines and cumins combining because those bonuses synergize very well. Mongols team bonus, scouts have +2 line of sight. That's the first one where I'm gonna say it's A tier. The reason why this is A tier is because excluding mesocivs, you will give all your teammates bigger scouting in the Dark Age, and that can mean that you're gonna find your resources faster, so you cannot be lamed. You can find opponent resources faster, so you cannot be lamed. It unlocks your scouting for, in general, just planning your strategies with your map, finding your opponent's weaknesses in his map. Such a nice bonus to have as a team. And again, laming can also win you the game. So I'm even contemplating putting it S tier, but I'm probably not when I look at the others' team bonuses in the A tier. But yeah, Mongols team bonus is definitely great. Persians, knights have +2 attack against archers. We're gonna sneak that one into situational as well, because the bonus relies entirely on the opponent making archers, which more often than not is, in open games at least, open maps, very frequent. But when our opponent is making archers and you have knights, it is a very good team bonus. However, it's just a bit rare, right? First of all, your civ might not have access to knights. You know what? I'm still going to put it in situational because of the power spike it can have if you're actually getting this situation of knights versus archers. But in general, obviously, it's not something that happens every game, and obviously the civs have to be lined up that the opponents are making archers and your teammates or whatnot are making knights. So a little bit torn on this one, but I think it's a situational, solid team bonus. Poles have a team bonus of, I think it's in the same similar. Like, it's very similar to Persians in that their scout cavalry have +1 attack against archers. It's again very situational. I feel like maybe both Poles and Persians belong in OK. Yeah, I'm gonna put them in OK because they're not bad, but they do rely on the opponents having archers and you having scouts or knights. And considering how frequent knights and scouts and archers are in games, I think we're just gonna put them in OK because they're neither bad nor are they great, but yeah. We'll do it like that. Now we have the new one, the fresh one on the block, Portuguese. They used to have a bonus where everyone had shared exploration, right? But now that is on by default, which, by the way, might actually be another reason to put Mongols in S tier, because you give the whole team so much more scouting from the get-go. But yeah, Portuguese new bonus is now that all technologies, excluding advancing ages, are researched 25% faster. S tier! Let's go! Portuguese are the best! Oh, okay. So yeah, this is just insane value throughout the game, right? Imagine how many researches you do throughout the game. 20, 30, up to 40 even. And all those researches are 25% faster. It's gonna give you insane value over the course of a game. And combine that with something like Malians as well, and your universities explode. But yeah, it's just a super, super solid team game bonus overall. And I think Portuguese now, since the most recent changes, might be up there in the S and A tier of civilizations overall as well, especially now with that amazing team bonus as well. Saracens, foot archers have +3 again against standard buildings. It has to be an A tier, right? Again, archers, it is somewhat situational with the fact you have to make archers and your opponent has to make buildings that you can shoot. But I would say it's a great team bonus when you have it. It just helps again unlock so much pressure on your opponents. They can never feel safe behind their walls, even with humans. Even on closed maps, I would say Saracens are dangerous, or Saracens allies are dangerous as well. So it is a great team bonus. Even though, again, it is also somewhat situational. Sicilians, transport ships cost -50% and have 5 line of sight. Very situational. Obviously, you only make transport ships on water maps, but when you want to make them, it's a really nice bonus to have. Let's say you play Team Islands and you want 1 or 2 of your teammates to be landing. Not only does the cheaper cost help, but only the vision you get, because it helps you avoid making a landing straight upon the enemy. Obviously, it is just extremely situational. Slavs, barracks, archer ranges, stables, and seed workshops provide 5 population. This is one I would even consider potentially putting in S tier. It is a very, very good bonus. It makes your whole opening a little bit smoother. If you're a flank, you can go double range and not have to worry about a house, which means you can get those 2 archers out faster. If you're pocket, you want to play scouts, you don't have to make that house, so you get that stable. You can do eco upgrades a bit faster, make another farm faster, all those things. It just helps with the flow of the game and the smoothness, and I think that is extremely important in team game bonuses. If we were even to bring in deathmatch into this, Slavs would be absolute ultimate S tier. So anything that prevents Viper from getting housed is S tier. Yes. Spanish, trade cards and trade cogs return 25% gold. Now, I made the argument earlier about, for example, Bengalis, that the trade kicks in so late and whatnot. But Spanish, the extra gold you can get from trade is just... I mean, this was even more before. It was 33%, now it's 25%. One of the most powerful bonuses, because team games more often than not can go, and will go, I would say, to late game. And just having 25% extra gold throughout the whole game. Not only does it help, obviously, the longer the game goes and the more trade you get, but also with the first initial drop-offs of gold. Just that 25% extra gold can be like another 50, 100 gold after 2-3 trips. That can help a lot to add more trade units, to add more military and whatnot. Yeah, one of the most powerful team bonuses that have been since the dawn of time. Tatars, mounted archers have +2 line of sight. It's a bad bonus. Again, mounted archers, you never get mounted archers until Castle Age, and Not many civs will make mounted archers in team games, not early on anyway. But of course, imagine you're playing Mongols and you have Mangudai. I wouldn't mind that extra line of sight, but again, you know, maybe it could even be trash, but nah, we're gonna leave Incas there by themselves. Ooh, this one is tricky. Teutons. All units resist conversion. Its description is half as effective as Faith. I would even consider that an S tier bonus, because it shuts out a lot of potential strategies from the opponent as well, because they cannot really go Monk Rush or as easily go Monk Rush, which is a powerful strategy for a lot of civilizations. Let's say you have some knights and you're raiding an economy or whatnot, your knights just won't get converted. And on top of that, there's also late game situations. Monks is an effective tool to convert siege units. No, I think it's actually an S tier. It also means that you can make a lot of those expensive units and not be too worried about conversions. So let's say you're playing Persians, suddenly war elephants are a very viable choice in late game. Again, your opponent needs to make monks and try to convert your units. But I think the biggest thing is that it also shuts out a strategy choice from your opponents. And that is huge. I think it's a great bonus, something you always have to consider when Teutons are involved. Turks, gunpowder units are created 25% faster. I think it's an okay bonus. Gunpowder units can have way more impact in team games in the shape of like fast imps, bomber cannon production, hand cannon production, those types of things. It's quite situational. In some situations it will have a massive impact, in most games it probably won't. It's still a nice bonus to have, it's okay, nothing special. Vietnamese, this one I'm gonna throw straight into S tier, because Vietnamese actually makes skirmishers viable, and considering the popularity of things like Arbalest or range units in general, Imperial Age skirmishers can be huge. Now, again, the fact is also that it unlocks it for your whole team. Yes, Vietnamese Imperial Skirmishers is probably one of the best units in the game when it comes to cost efficiency. Someone is also pointing out now that with shared location being on by default, Vietnamese, it's not a team bonus per se, but their civ bonus now of seeing the opponent town center means that the whole team sees enemy town centers, and that's pretty neat as well. So that's it is an unofficial team game bonus indeed. And then at last we have the Vikings. We're gonna have to put it in very situational, but it is super important and great team bonus for water maps in general and hybrid maps. Also, we have to put it in situational because of the limited factor of only being viable where you can build a dock. Alright, so this is my list. Let me have a quick look here to see if there's anything I would change. I'll start from bottom and go up. Incas, no, you stay there. Dravidians, Japanese, Malay, Sicilians, Vikings, yeah, all very situational, but decent bonuses. I think actually all of them have decent, good bonuses here. Bengalis, yeah, it's not great still. Berbers, Burmese, Ethiopians, Franks. I think the bad ones stay there. And we have okay team bonus. Again, like something like Britons can also have a big impact on team games, because let's say Arabia, having faster archery ranges can be huge. But generally speaking, you don't always make range units, and I think these bonuses like Britons, Huns, they are good bonuses, but they're not something that you see, okay, I'm gonna pick this civ now because I want the faster this. Sometimes you do synergize Huns in particular with something that, like in the past we used to try to synergize Huns with Indians, the old Indians, which is now Hindustanis, because their camels were so dominating. So that used to be a synergy we tried to make happen, but in the end I still think it's an okay bonus, even though it is borderline A tier. Then we have the A tier here. I don't think any of these deserve to go down. If anything goes down, it's maybe the bonus of Khmer and Koreans. Okay, I think I'm content leaving all of these here, but I think we could move one or two up to S tier. Think as well, if we think about the fact that now it's shared exploration, it's the same argument for Vietnamese now giving the extra TC, the division of the enemy TCs to everyone. Mongols now with that extra, with shared exploration on by default, your whole team gets even way more scouting information than before. So I think you could easily argue that Mongols probably is S tier now. I think we're gonna do another one up to S tier, and it is Italians. Condottiero are just such a good unit to have instantly access to. Now, you could argue like, but TheViper, why don't we see condos more often then? A fair question, but I think it's still just the potential Italians unlocks for your whole team is amazing, and especially if you combine also hybrid / water maps, it is a really good team bonus. Again, Chinese as well, I used to have them easy S tier. It's been nerfed a little bit, still a super good bonus, but I think it's not as comparable as the others. I think I'm happy. All right, now the question goes out to you guys. What do you think are the best team bonuses in the game? Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with my list? Feel free to let me know what you think should go up and down, or if I'm completely off on something. Make sure you let me know, and make sure you say why. Don't come here and say, Bengalis should be S tier, period. Tell us why. There needs to be some logic here, some arguments. Tatars should be trash, and maybe... I think so, actually. Wait, is it mounted units or mounted range units? Or it's mounted archers. Incas, you've got a new friend. Enjoy that mounted archer line of sight. It's trash. Stay down there, give Incas some company. This will officially be my final list. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Also, make sure to leave a comment if you have an idea of a tier list you would like to see. It's maybe something that hasn't been done before. I'm open to hear your feedback. All right.